Who are you, the fashion police? If I don't want to wear a shirt and tie one day, that's fine. Okay, yeah. Call the police then. That's fine. I don't care. I'm going to call them on you for interrupting me. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's Wednesday. I'm in love. Hi, everyone. How's it going? My name is, well, it's not important. I went to the comic shop today. You guys want to see what I got? Picks of the week. This is going to be an all Marvel edition of Wednesday I'm in Love because, well, I love Marvel. All right. I'm kidding, of course. I do love Marvel comics, and I try, when I do these little videos, I do try to vary things up, so I'm not just always talking about the same publisher or the same book or whatever. But today was a very Marvel-heavy week. There were only 2 books I got today that were not published by the Marvel Comics group. That would be Ascender from Image Comics, which I highly recommend. You should read Descender first, obviously. And then The Batman's Grave, which is a 12-issue series that Warren Ellis is currently writing, and it's also very good. But you were probably buying that one anyway. So, yeah, all Marvel stuff today because, I was supposed to get Moonshine from Image, but yeah, I got shorted. If Warren's watching this from the shop, it's not a big deal. I didn't want him to feel bad about it. But, because it's a good book, and I'm still going to buy it, but it's not that good. All right, so anyway, first this week, we have Black Panther and the Agents of Wakanda. Number 6, this is a very fun team book. These are my favorite kinds. My favorite kinds of Marvel comic books are the ones that, and there's no delicate way to put this, are ones that are going to get canceled within 7 to 8 months. Because they tend to take, they tend to have more fun with it. It's not like the Avengers and Thor. Those are always very good books, and they're usually very heavy hitters on the creative teams. It's these smaller books that they give to guys that are just like, meh. So this book is scripted by Jim Zub, and I also make it a policy to not be negative at all on this show. But I can say that up until now, I've not really enjoyed Jim Zub's work very, very much. Occasionally, he wrote a Samurai Jack book for IDW a few years back. That was my first awareness of him. But he's been writing for Marvel for a while, and I picked this up because it was Black Panther, which I do love, and it was like Kazar is on the team and a bunch of other... It's like a lot of D and C list characters on the team. Although now I'm looking as Deadpool and the Wasp are on the cover. You get what I'm saying. Oh, so... But this is really good. I picked it up like, it's a Zub, and I didn't really like his run on the Champions very much, and his, he co-wrote Iron Man for a minute with Dan Slott, but honestly could not tell who was doing what. This is all to say that I was delightfully surprised to find that I really enjoy this book, and as usual, I'm going to be bummed when it gets canceled after 3 more issues or so, because that's just what happens. Anyway, how are you? Good. All right, next up we have Hawkeye Free Fall, number 3. This is yet another Hawkeye mini. I don't know. That's another thing, though, about funny books, especially superhero comics, and especially Marvel superhero comics, is it's just not like it used to be. I just thought of that. I just thought that things are not like they used to be. Somebody write it down. I have it on tape. Things aren't like they used to be. So, books, like, say, for example, even the Agents of Wakanda book, or this Hawkeye book, they don't come out as like, this is a special limited series. They used to put that at the top of the cover. Number 1 in a 4-issue limited series. They don't do that anymore because sometimes they're like, I think most of the time they're like, well, maybe if it's good enough, we'll keep it going. And Hawkeye is far more popular than he ever was when I was growing up. Like after they killed him in Avengers Disassembled, that was like 20 years ago. Jeez Louise. He came back and he was more popular than ever. And then they made him an Avenger in the movies, which he's an Avenger in real life too. But, he wasn't currently on the Avengers roster, I don't think, when those movies started coming out. I am getting bogged down in minutia. Oh, I must be me. My point is, it's weird to me that Hawkeye can't carry a title or they don't give him a regular series. I don't know if the sales are, I intentionally don't pay that much attention to him, but... And it's fun stuff. It's very much in the same vein of the Matt Fraction Hawkeye series from like 2013-ish. And then the Jeff Lemire series, which followed that. It's fun stuff. It's not all, Hawkeye's way more fun than he is dark and brooding. and like kind of how like he is like when like he was in Endgame. I'm gonna stop and start talking about the other book. There's no graceful way to segue. And then finally we have Spirits of Ghost Rider, Mother of Demons, #1. This is, I think it's a one-shot, but I honestly don't know. My first assumption was that it was a 5th week book, and if you're not familiar with the lingo, in fact, I'm not even sure this is lingo used outside of the comic book store that I used to work at. The 5th week book is a 5-issue miniseries that publishers, especially Marvel or DC, will put out when there's a month rather, with 5 Wednesdays in it. So it's not like, and it's usually just a collection of one-shots or what-ifs or, nothing really super canonized. And that's what I thought this was, but February only has 4 Wednesdays in it. And then I was like, well, maybe it's kind of like a tryout-y thing, but this is written by Ed Brisson, who is well established at Marvel by now. He's writing one of the X books at least. The last thing I remember reading was Dead Man Logan. He's writing a ton of stuff, though. And I know that because I've been buying more stuff with his name on it, specifically for that. And then Roland Boshi, or Boshi, however you pronounce it, is on art duties for this. But he's well established at Marvel, especially with Ghost Rider. I think that's the bulk of his work at Marvel has been for Ghost Rider. So I don't know why this book. Also, why ask why? Try but dry. Oh, geez Louise. Hey, somebody call the 90s and get them their thing back. Their commercial back. Hi, my name is Jimmy, and I was talking about a Ghost Rider comic. I'm stoked on it because I love 90s Ghost Rider. I know 70s Ghost Rider is way cooler objectively, I know that. But 90s Ghost Rider is what I cut my teeth on. Danny Ketch was my Ghost Rider, and now he's back. And Johnny Blaze, they're both Ghost Rider, which is... So it's all the Ghost Rider stuff that they're bringing back these days is all very 90s resonant, for lack of a better word, and I couldn't get enough of it. So this issue features Lilith, the mother of demons. So she's the mother of the angel, or is she? Now I'm getting all my Christian mythology mixed up with the Ghost Rider. It'll be fun. I guess I'll report back on that next week when I do picks of last week. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. When I do picks of last week next week. You got it. Okay. All right, so last week I read Manifest Destiny number 41, and it was as good as I knew it would be. And as I was saying before, I think last week I was saying I don't remember what's happening. Now I'm more remember it. There's a tribe, in this current arc, there's a tribe of women who have a secret. What? I'm telling you, you get a bunch of women in the woods, it's either witchery or a wedding shower. I think that's a joke from Mystery Science Theater I just stole. I also had forgotten, though, that there is another character that's kind of new to the book who's like a ghost, technically, but also could be a hallucination. So that particular storyline is progressing in a way that I did not see coming. And also Sacagawea is a much stronger character just in general. Like, I think we know now, historically speaking, that Sacagawea wasn't just some docile little Indian princess. But in this book, she is for sure super badass, way more badass than any of the other characters, which is pretty cool. So anyway, good book. You should pick that up. It's on 41 issues. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, yeah. So then I also read Saga Yo Jimbo, number 8. This is number 8 of the current volume. Ugh, what a great book. And not only that, did I have something else I wanted to say about any of these other books? I don't think so. I make all these notes and then I skip right over them. Did that one. All right. So, yeah, this is another Usagi arc. The great thing about Usagi Yo Jimbo is if you're curious to read it, just jump in wherever. There's really nothing that you need to know kind of going into it in advance. Usagi Yo Jimbo is a Ronin. He's a masterless samurai, and he wanders the countryside. It's very kung fu, very, kung fu. So I was trying to think of something not martial arts related, and I couldn't. Like a Western, it's a very man with no name sort of a thing. And this isn't directly related to this book, but I have a buddy of mine who works at Lone Star Comics out in Texas there. I follow him on the Instagram. He's at the.androids.dungeon. And he posts, you should follow him if you're on the Instagram, because he posts all kinds of stuff. His whole job at Lone Star is to grade books as they come in, so he posts a lot of photos of it, and it's cool. And he's been posting stuff from the Usagi Yo Usagi Yo Jimbo. Hi, my name is Usagi Yo Jimmy. Usagi Yo Jimbo storyline called Grass Cutter, which I haven't read yet, but it's like an old man Usagi arc, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's so much fun. I've realized this, and it's not for the first time, but the other day I said out loud to myself, I'm like, I really like fun. Which, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to say that even 5 years ago, I don't think. I never used to like fun, and who knows? You know, the things you discover later in life, am I right, kids? I'm 73 years old. After that, I had, or around that same time, The Man Who Fucked Up Time #1. Sorry for swearing. This was even funner than I expected it to be. I knew John Layman from his writing duties on Chew and various other things, so I knew I was in good hands as far as that goes. The artist, Carl Mostert, who I talked about, South African fellow, excellent art. Really good stuff. It's kind of in that he's kind of got that early Avatar vibe, like Juan Jose Reap or Jason Burrows type of feel to it. That might be because it's on Aftershock and they're kind of similar publishers, but I think it's also just, that's how it is. But dude, if you are looking for a time travel story and you have, you know, a fascistic Abraham Lincoln and guys riding pterodactyls and stuff, I don't know what else you could possibly be signed up for. Because it's fun when it's fun. That was Pixel last week. What else? I didn't get a whole ton of other comic book reading done this week. I've been making headway on the Defenders. I've started the Defenders from the beginning, and I'm reading all the way through. And I have most of them in actual print. I've been reading the ones I don't have on my tablet on the app, but that's still fun. And I've also been reading this Conan novel. Conan the Barbarian. So you don't think it's Conan the ice cream truck driver. Conan the Barbarian was created by Robert E. Howard in the 1930s. And his estate still owns the character, to my knowledge. In the 70s, Marvel licensed the character, and so they made all these some of Roy Thomas's best stuff. Personally speaking, I think it's his best stuff. And then you had guys like Barry Windsor Smith drawing it. Hey, and John Buscema, and just, you know, it's great stuff. And then Marvel has recently reacquired the license. I'm assuming it's because Dark Horse got the license after Marvel had it. Dark Horse in the 80s was a smaller publisher, but they got the licensing to Aliens, you know, all the Fox stuff. And they had Star Wars, which probably got them through the 90s. And then, but now Disney owns Marvel, and also owns Star Wars, and now also owns Fox. So I think that's a Conan property. Or maybe they just took it back from Dark Horse with the Marvel thing. I'm boring myself. My point is, I've been reading a Conan novel. And I think it was one that I used to read them like in junior high because there was sex in them. And also the violence and stuff is fun. So I just kind of, I was feeling nostalgic. So it's Conan the Great. I can't remember who's reading it, who wrote it. It's from when Conan was king of Aquilonia. So it's kind of like a later era Conan story. But it's fun and relevant to the subject at hand. Right? Okay. Well, I've gone over time again. Why aren't you timing me? We'll see you back here next week, everybody. My name has been Jimmy. Oh, and also, I mentioned this, I think, last week, but I have a music podcast that I put out every Thursday. I'm supposed to do this on Wednesday, but I had to go to Irvine to shoot a thing. I'm very sought after as an actor. Also, I had to shoot a guy, but that's neither here nor there. I have a music podcast called The Worm Turns with Jimmy Calloway. It's available wherever you get podcasts, unless you get them on Spotify. And the 99th episode came out today, and it's an oversized episode, as next week will be the 100th episode, will also be oversized. I'm very excited to have made it this far with this podcast, and it's a lot of fun. And if you enjoy, some of you watching don't even read comics, but you just like hearing me rattle on about something that I'm passionate about, which I don't understand, but also I'm not mad at it. I do the same thing with records on this podcast, and then you don't have to look at my face the whole time, which I can understand is very distracting. Because you're very attracted to it, wasn't the implication. All right. So yeah, check that out. The iTunes link is bit.ly/thewormturns, just to make it easier. And I think that's everything. Okay, guys, I got to go read some comics now. 2, 3, 4. Da 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 dee 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 da beep beep ba 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 ba. Oh, and then me and my friends are gonna go see Birds of Prey on Monday. It'll be fine.